I guess we're live, Cheyenne, right? Here we are, right?
Here we are. I can see you and hear. Can you hear me and see me?
I can see you beautifully.
Great.
Listen, this is technology. First of all, I want to welcome everybody who's watching our feed right now. This is my first at home live backstage with Richard Ridge, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this.
Yes. Thank you for having me. And listen, we're working out the kinks. It's all
Yeah, well,
good.
listen, that's what it's all about. Who would have thought that I'd be talking to you on an iPhone?
I mean, technology has come so far. Yes, my computer would not work, and so finally we just like are going through my iPhone too. So here
And
we are.
my phone keeps spinning. So I figured, I have known you, I think, since Thoroughly Modern Millie, which I
Oh
think was your
wow,
first, right?
2002. Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. 18 years ago. That was my Broadway debut. Yeah.
There were many people who were going to make their debuts this season. But of course, the season was put on hold due to everything that's happening. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully that will happen for them when Broadway starts up again. But what are your fondest memories of your Broadway debut in Millie? Do you remember that first time on?
Of course. Oh my gosh. So I got to the city and I'd only been in the city for a few weeks and I had my quick rehearsal. Nobody was in the city with me yet. My boyfriend at the time still lived in Seattle. And so I was here by myself. My parents didn't come. So no one was there for my Broadway debut. But I remember just the feeling of, I cannot believe that this is about to happen. This woman who just won the Tony Award is getting ready and she's standing with me, Sutton's with me backstage, and she's getting ready to go out and sing, Not for the Life of Me. And it was just out of body. It
Yeah.
was incredible. A dream come true. Absolutely incredible.
It had to have been one of those surreal moments of dreaming what it was going to be like. And then you're standing in the wings saying, you have that perspective of seeing lights from the side, and then you're going to
Yeah.
walk out there and then look at an audience.
Oh, it's just everything you imagine. I mean, it was better than I ever imagined. Luckily I'd been on a lot of stages and done a lot of shows, so
Yeah.
technically I knew what I was doing. But the idea that I was actually on Broadway, once you add that word to the mix,
Yeah.
woo, it's a whole different ballgame. So yeah, it was very, very exciting. I can't believe, yeah, it's going to be 18 years this year.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing, amazing.
Well, as I'm sitting with you, I'm live in New York in Manhattan Plaza talking to you live in California. Now, I
Yep.
know you've had a big day out there because you're homeschooling the kids now, right?
Right. That's right. So yeah, since this all happened, my kids, I have 3.5-year-old twins, Willow and Ethan, and they've been in preschool for a year and they love it. And they love learning and they love being away from us for, several hours, and they love their time. But yeah, obviously, since this happened, we just thought, what if we just, the most important thing for us is to keep schedule. And I'm very strict. I like
Yeah.
a lot of structure and order, and the way we parent, and me in particular, the more guidelines I give them, then the freer they feel within those lines. So I wanted to keep everything as same as possible. So I'm lucky enough to have a big enough house where I have another separate little guest house, and we turned that into a little school, and we have full on school. I have a sign up. We have charts. We have stickers. we have recess. We have snacks. We're doing it. And today is the end of the second day, or the second week, and so far they're not hating it. And also it's important to me. I get them dressed. I do their hair. They put on backpacks. I want it to still feel like school, not jammies, not, because it just makes it more of a thing. And we'll see
Yeah.
how long I can keep it up. I don't know. I've always had respect for teachers. My sister's a teacher, her husband's a teacher, but whoa, doing it ourselves, another level, man. The patience, it's incredible.
Are you doing it together? Like, is Jason taking some days or you're the teacher?
Absolutely. No, we're equal opportunity here. Everything is split. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's got to be a wild thing. I mean, we have a lot of parents with kids watching this feed today
Yeah.
that have had to have the conversation with their children about,
Yep.
your lives are now disrupted because of what's going on in the world.
Yep.
What kind of conversation did you and Jason have with the twins?
It's a good question. I mean, we don't lie to the kids.
Yeah.
We made a very conscious decision. Did you ever see the movie Captain Fantastic?
Yeah.
Right. So, the whole idea of that film and that philosophy is that you just are honest with the kids about everything to a point. Obviously you don't want to overcrowd their brain with things they
Yeah.
don't need, things that are inappropriate, but they know about death. Like the other day, unfortunately, we have little bunnies running around the property, and our dog was sniffing under
Yeah.
the some by the swings, and I was like, "What is she doing?" I pulled her out. I pulled out a dead bunny in front of my kids, and all of a sudden, I'm having the death conversation.
Yeah.
They know that my dad and Jason's dad, Grandpa David and Grandpa Paul, are gone, and so they understand certain concepts. So I think if you are really, really specific with the language that you use with kids, you can create anything for them.
Yeah.
So we've just told them, listen, there are some people that are sick, and we need to protect them, and we need to protect us. So we're going to be staying home for a while. No more school. And listen, they love it. They
Yeah.
love both of us home. They love me not being on a plane or in another city doing something, and Jason not, doing his 5 jobs. So, we're trying to be as honest as possible. And my goal throughout this entire process is I just want to their childhood and this experience for them. I want nothing to be disrupted. I want them that you're only a child for one little hot second of your life,
Yeah.
and I want them to not feel. I don't want our stresses and our pressures to go onto them. And it's hard because this is stressy. This is pressure. This is unprecedented. And I have good days. I have bad days. I had a really bad day a couple days ago. I was panicky. Jason had 3 really, really rough days in a row,
Yeah.
crying. Just, we were all going through it. It's like this, it's like this. And I was the strong one. And then we kind of changed roles, and then he took care of me. So one day at a time, man.
It's great that you have, like, I'm married too. I've been married to my husband. Preston and I have been together for 43 years.
Wow.
We wake up every day and I'm like, what day of the week it is? I asked, I look at my phone. I'm like, every day turns into the next day. You try to do things, you try to be productive, you
Yeah.
try to put everything into perspective.
Right.
But you have your core group. You have your husband, you have your
Yep.
kids.
Yep.
I mean, what are you doing as a family? Like, are you binge watching stuff? Like, what is a day like in the compound? Does it change
So
every day?
it we try to keep some form the same, right? So
Yeah.
Jason owns his own company,
Yeah.
and even though unfortunately he's had to lay off, I think 7 people, and it's been really, really difficult. He still has things moving and grooving, so he has to take meetings, but he has to do it in their playroom in the corner. We've kind of set up a little thing. Um, thank God, about 3 months ago, I broke down and got a bike, a Peloton bike.
Yeah.
And so I set it up down there. So because I go crazy if I can't sweat or work out in some way, and I'm not somebody who can watch an app on my phone and do a little thing in my room. It doesn't work for me. I can't stay motivated. So I go down and I jump on the bike and I do a workout. Jason does his stuff. Our Jason's mom lives in our guest house,
Yeah.
and so she helps us, and we're with her, and she's older obviously, so she watches the kids, and then we all kind of take turns, and then I watch, and then we go to school. As far as binge watching, oh my gosh, I mean, there's just anything and everything. I've actually been spending a lot of time watching everybody's live feeds,
Yeah.
because everybody's producing and doing things, and I'm trying to not we are trying to focus on other people, and
Yeah.
how we help others from inside of our house. And I think it just helps with the anxiety, and it helps with the self-centeredness, which tends to permeate.
No, but you're being really honest. The one thing that has come out of all of this, particularly at Broadway World, everyone is just sharing stories.
Right.
Actors, composers, lyricists of saying, how can I use my talent or how I'm feeling to show other people that, we're all going through the same thing and we're trying to
Right.
find a happy medium of just getting
Right.
through this because there's so much uncertainty. We know nothing about anything of when this is all going to end or when everything's going to come back. So it's like, what's been really great for me is just taking stock of everything in life of like what's important and what's not important.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you're all going through the same thing there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Perspective every single day. Well, I'm in recovery I've been sober for 7 years. So so much of my life on a daily basis anyway is taking stock, um, doing a gratitude list. These are the
Yep.
things I'm grateful for. And now more than ever, we're focusing on what we have, not what we don't have. And wherever you are in life, socioeconomic, where you live, your age, whatever, it's all relative. Everybody has shit that they're going through. And if you focus on what you do have and focus on helping others, it will actually help you through the day. That being said, that's all nice and flowery to say. It's been really, really, really hard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just personally, I booked 4 of the biggest jobs in my entire life right before all of this.
Yeah.
And 3 of them may go away altogether. And so everybody's missing out. And Jason's business partner had to lay off 33 people. Our friend who owns restaurants, he had to lay off 300 people. People are suffering, and all of us are suffering in our own way. So those jobs may not come back to me, but that is the way it is right now. I cannot control that. All I can control is how I react to it. And that's really hard to practice every day, but what can you do?
But you're doing it, and that's the important thing. I want to congratulate you on your sobriety. I
Thanks.
stopped drinking in October.
Oh, good for you.
And, I loved my red wine. I'm going to be honest here with everybody. And,
Yeah.
I would go to a gala and have 2 glasses
Yeah.
before dinner. I'd have, 2 or 3 during dinner, 1 after. And you realize I've had a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I work in a business like you do. I'm competing with young people who are doing the same thing. But I said, did I really need it? And I said I just stopped one day and I said, and the weird thing was I stopped right before I went to a big wedding. And what were they featuring? 40 different wines. But I was really proud of myself because I drank ginger ale. And I was like, no, I'm not going to go after one of those. So it's just, you should be very proud of what you've accomplished.
Thanks. Yeah, I am. I mean, and listen, these are the days where, do I wish I had a glass of red wine right now?
Yeah, totally. Me
Yeah,
too.
but I don't. And I find other ways to cope with it. And luckily, I have these 2 amazing kids that, give me perspective in 1 second. And I focus on them, and we find a way through the difficult moments. And there are right now, they are usually with twins.
Yeah.
One is more alpha and one is more passive. We have 2 very expressed, very alpha children. And right now they are pushing their boundaries and pushing their limits. And it is hard. It is hard right now. We are trying to navigate the moods and when to give in and when to push back and when to do a timeout and when to talk it out. And it is the most challenging thing I've ever done. Thank goodness Jason is on the same page as me, as parenting wise. But man, thank God for this online community of other parents, because I can just, and thank God I have a partner in crime in it. So I can say, I have to tap out.
Yeah.
I'm done. I don't have any more patience. Once my patience goes, then no, I don't want to be, they don't need to be around me when I don't want to start yelling and screaming. So, but Lordy, does that.
Well, like I said today, we arranged this, you and I, to sit, and you were like, well, I homeschooled for 3.5 hours. And you're like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to multitask and try to turn the computer on and see if I can hook up with Richie live in New York. I mean, I'm sure it's nonstop for you at home.
Yeah. It is, but it's, we struggled the first couple of weeks because the gift and the curse of social media is you're connecting with people. You feel like, we're the same. We're going through the same thing. The curse of it, especially now, is what we call in recovery compare and despair. So comparing yourself to other people, thinking like,
Okay.
okay, why aren't I learning a language right now? Why aren't I, going through all of my drawers and writing that novel and sending those cards or all those things that we wanted to do? And most of us are spending the days just getting through the day,
Yeah.
eating way too much, watching bad TV, whatever we have to do to get through this, because this has never happened before. And there's no template. There's no right or wrong way. So being kind, not being so but judgmental. It's also very difficult to see people on social media who aren't quarantining as much as you are. I mean, we've been quarantined for 18 days. I locked it down. Nobody
Yeah.
comes in, nobody goes out, and except for to get supplies, and we do the masks and the gloves and the whole nine. When the mail comes, I let it sit in the sun. I wash, I'm doing all the things that you're supposed to do. I'm listening to the experts, and you see people not doing that.
Yeah.
You see people on beaches, or you see people like saying, they can't tell me what to do. And it makes you want to go batshit crazy. But I can't control that. I can't control their reaction to this and how they're dealing with their family. All I can control is my family and decisions I'm making for me. It's hard to do when you're a control freak. So
No, but you're doing the right thing. I do the same thing. You know, I'm so aware of touching things now, like even
right,
taking, we have a trash room at the end of the hallway. I hate
right,
even going there
right,
because you come
right.
back and you wash your hands for the 90th time.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's, you have to. I think it's important for all of us to take care of our mental health, and I think a
Yeah.
big part of that is to not watch so much news. There's so much information, whether you're an MSNBC guy or a Fox News person
Yeah.
or a CNN person. It's just whatever it is, it's such a barrage, and we can only take so much. I feel like what Jay and I have had to do is just let's just put the kibosh on the news for today. We know what we have to do. If
Yeah.
something major happens, we will find out. It's just clearing that space, because even in the quiet times when you're alone in your house, that's when things can get the loudest up here. It's just crazy, man. It's just nuts. It's
Yeah.
just, what's a day like for you?
You know, it's weird because I was going to ask you, California, at least you have sun and you have property.
Yeah.
We're total lockdown here too. I
Right.
go out once a week. Preston lets me go out. I put on the mask, a hat. I have winter gloves on. I go to the grocery store. I try to load up if you can find what you need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you spend $175, boob, in the grocery store, if you can find what you want,
Right.
you know,
Oh my gosh. The other day,
yeah,
I can't believe this happened. So I went into Trader Joe's, went in, waited in line, 6 feet apart.
yeah,
They let 10 people in at a time, the whole nine. I go in there, I fill my cart up. There's not that much bread. There's no flour. There's none of the basic staples. So I just had to kind of be creative and figure things out. So I got most of the stuff on my list. I turn around to go get some bananas. Somebody took my cart.
yeah.
Somebody took my shopping cart. I could not believe it. I was looking around like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I looked around, and literally there was no shopping cart. I finally found it on the other end, and there were two things left in it. Somebody had just taken all my stuff and put it in theirs, and it was like, okay, it's one for all and all for one,
Yeah.
I guess. Man,
It's like this is the new now when you shop.
I guess so. It's crazy, man. Yeah.
But it's so weird. It's like you go into the store, it's certain things I can't find any cleaning products here
Right.
in New
Right.
York. Luckily, we're a little stocked with we have two things of Lysol disinfecting wipes, which I used to clean my whole house with them. And now
Right.
you're like, I'll use 4 of them today.
Right. I'm kind of a germ person too, and
Yeah.
I like, my dad was a bit of a what are those people that they kind of, not stockpilers, but they have like lots of canned food and stuff in their garage. I always had that mindset from him. So I've always had some extra things, some
Yeah.
extra food, extra water, an extra gas can. Just that's how I was raised. But I've always had a lot of extra like wipies and cleaning things. And now, you look on Amazon and they're like $10 for a thing. It's just I can't even wrap my brain around this, man.
Especially with kids who you want to wipe their hands 24/7. Those things aren't around anymore to do.
No, I know. Well, we made either the best decision or the worst decision, and that is we got a puppy.
Yeah.
Um, and they've been talking about it for a long time. We have an older dog. She's 10, Billie Jean. But we had planned on getting the kids a puppy because Billie Jean is a little cranky, won't really let them touch her. So, and they're craving to have, you know, that to be little moms and dads and to do all that and to be, you know, tactile. So we had a friend, we adopted, we got this adorable little puppy, and I just forgot how much, you know, they get 3 times a night, and it's a full on thing. But it's actually it's been great because now we have time to train and the kids are bonding. And so if anybody, here's a bit of advice. It kind of seems like a crazy thing, but it can be something to really bring your family together. And we let the kids name her. Her name's Cookie Pie. So Cookie Pie Jackson Landau. 2 dogs, 2 kids. We have 15 fish. You know.
You've got the life, my friend. Believe me. We're sitting here and, like, you know, it's cement city here. It's so weird. You open the window, no one's on the streets here in New York, Cheyenne, anywhere.
Right?
And nor should they be. I mean, people
Right.
should just go out. But we do the same thing. We spray our mail with whatever Lysol we have left in the house.
Uh-huh.
We throw the envelopes out. It's just really weird how we're going through all this together.
I was just watching Sandra Bernhard's a buddy, and she had a live yesterday, and she was telling about her routine too. And and I think people in California kind of take for granted that we can go into our backyard or down the hill is you know, there's we can get out and about.
Yeah.
In New York, you guys are all on top of each other. So what's the sense in New York in terms, you really do feel like people are locking it down?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's really great because in our elevators, you're only allowed 3 people in the elevator. We have a security guard that just watches our elevators. Mostly everyone's wearing masks and gloves. I mean, it's scary here. I mean, I listen to Cuomo every day. He's the only person I listen to, Governor Cuomo.
Yes.
You know, and it's like he's one of the smartest men in the world. And it's like I listen to what he says. And it's like my sister's a nurse. She's having a tough time because, you know, she takes care of people who have it. But she's like, and then she has to go home to her family and she's all paranoid. But she goes, this is what I do. I also want to help save people.
Right.
But it's like everyone forgets about the health people, the people who are still working in these grocery stores, taking everybody's money 24/7. And I mean, and the restaurant, like all the restaurants here, everything's closed. Joe Allen, I mean, there's GoFundMe's for Joe Allen's. There's like the West Bank Cafe. I mean, you forget about all the other people that have nothing.
Right. That's right. That's right.
You know, and so many people in the entertainment industry are on 1099s who have no idea what's going to happen with anything. So it's like we're in this really scary situation together.
We really are. We really are. Yeah. All we can do is support each other and love each other. And then when things slowly, you know, start to go again. Yeah, I also listen to Cuomo a lot. He's incredible. And I'm friends with Kenneth Cole and Maria
Yeah,
Cuomo.
sure.
And so I know the family a little bit. And he's no bullshit. He tells what you need and what is the projection and what needs to happen. And there's no politics involved. And that is what I wish everybody would drop right now. That this isn't about any of that stuff anymore. It's just about us all surviving and getting through this together. It's
But you know, we're all healing each other. You telling me what you've told me today with what's going on with your family is going to help someone else saying, oh, I'm feeling the same way. We have good days, we have bad days or whatever, but you've got your family.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, how has being a dad changed the way you look at life and particularly your career?
Well, it's changed everything. I mean, it changed, first of all, it changed the kind of work that I wanted to do. The kind of projects I wanted to be on. I asked Ryan Murphy to take a break from American Horror Story. I was just in a different mental place after having kids, and it was difficult for me to be in that mindset when I was going home to my little babies. And to his credit, he let me out of my contract. And I was able to do other things that were a better match for me emotionally and physically and spiritually at the time. So having kids really just informs every decision I make. I won't take a job um, out of town for longer than my rule was 10 days. But then recently I just finished a film that took me out of town for 28 days, and it was torture. It was so difficult. Thank goodness for FaceTime.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for communication. The kids had a countdown. They knew when daddy was coming home. But so the jobs that I take, the kind of work that I take, I've been doing a lot of stuff with Disney. I play this character Hades in the Descendants world, and now the kids are old enough to know that their dad is Hades. And I have this big crazy blue
Yeah.
wig, and I just shot a special on the Disney Channel, and the kids got to come to set and dance with me up there, and it was just it's everything I do is for them.
Yeah.
Not just bringing home the money and that aspect of it, but I want to make them proud. And both of them are very musical. I mean, I've been a little obsessed with that. Like since they were born, I would like practice pitches in the bathtub, like
Yeah.
la, 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 and make them match. And about, I don't know, 10 months ago, they both nailed it, and now they both. So I want them to think I'm cool, and I want them to be proud of what I do. So it makes the work. I guess I can sum it up by saying this: having two kids now makes acting less important,
Yeah.
and more important, if that makes sense. I don't sweat the small stuff like I used to, but the stuff that I do and the stuff that's going to take me away from them has to be worth it. So it means more, and it means less, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
With all the talent between you and your husband in that house, are the kids showing some talent now?
Yes, they are. That's very nice of you. Yeah, Jason, actually, people don't know this about him, but he went to
Yeah.
NYU with Matt Morrison. They were buddies and danced together and taught hip hop. And so, yeah, he's very, very theatrical, very musical. Great actor, too. He did a bunch of TV shows. But yeah, it's just innately in them. We can't. The other night we were watching Sound of Music, and the So Long Farewell song came on.
Yeah.
They both popped up, turned around, and performed the whole for us with like cuckoo, with like the whole. I mean, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Now they can entertain us.
It's inevitable, with all that talent running through both of your DNAs, it's going to happen.
Gotta do something. I'm not super into the idea of them being like child actors. If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I have this opportunity, would you?" That would be one thing. But I'm not going to schlep them to auditions and stuff. I want them to be kids. Like I said at the beginning, you're only a kid for a teeny little time of your life, and I want them to be kids, and I want them to get dirty, and I want them to experience bugs and life and nature and being a kid, not sitting on a set. I don't. Yeah.
When you first had the kids, you took 8 months off of your career.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
That must have been one of the best choices you've ever made.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, listen, there was a time when I thought that I wouldn't be able to have kids.
Yeah.
And I was married before to someone who didn't want to have kids. So I thought, okay, it looks like I'm not going to have kids. And then when I met Jason, we're going on almost 8 years together.
Yeah.
He wanted to have kids. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm too old to start having kids because I'll have kids by, 40. It's all different now. Everything's different. People are having kids. Some of our parenting groups early on, we were some of the youngest dads. So, no, it doesn't. It's the best, man. It's just the best.
Because you've been an inspiration, both of you, to a lot of gay couples and single parents and everybody who's wanted to have kids. You can have them in a whole different way right now. Was it a stressful period of getting pregnant and then before you got the kids and then got the kids? What is that whole time? What is that 9 months like?
Yeah, well, it's longer than 9 months. It's about the whole process is like a year and a half.
Okay.
Around. And it varies for different couples because everybody has different needs and different challenges, things that come up. We talked about adoption. We talked about a few different things, but we really wanted to go the surrogacy route.
Yeah.
And but we were interested in using gestational surrogate and an egg donor. So for those people who don't know what that means, basically an egg donor, just the eggs, one woman that's just the eggs, and then the gestational surrogate, and she just is the surrogate. So it's two separate women, and it's very transactional. It's very clean and honorable, and so nobody, it's not, I have to explain that because a lot of people don't understand. So what has to happen is both women have to get on the same cycle, and the gestational surrogate has to basically trick her body into thinking that she's pregnant to prepare it to be pregnant. So it's just we learned so much from in a scientific way, but also it's just very emotional because you go through, you find somebody and you think it's going to be a match, but then everybody gets tested for all these different types of everything under the sun, and if it's not a match at the last minute, then you move on again, and then there's all this money wasted, and then this time is wasted. So it was very, very emotional, and it was very when someone else is carrying your child. Surrogates are angels.
Yeah.
They are angels. They are angel people who are giving the biggest gift of all for couples, straight, gay, whoever, who can't conceive. And so imagine somebody giving up a year and a half of their life. Yes, there's monetary aspects. Yes, all of that, whatever. It's still from your own body. I can't think of anything more beautiful. And so Jason and I both have a tendency to be a little controlling.
Yeah.
So here's your surrogate holding your twins. We didn't know if we were going to have twins. They encouraged you to put in two with the hopes that at least one will be viable, but you also have a chance of having twins. And we did. The first try, we took two in. We put two in, one boy, one girl. They both took. And so here is our surrogate who is in another city, and we can't control what she eats.
Yeah.
We can't control her life. All we can do is give her the information and hope that she's making the right choices and hope for the best. And it's exciting and daunting and beautiful, life-changing experience because we got to be in the room right when the kids were being born. And I was pretty cool before they were born. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be one of those dads that's, all crying. I was like, I'm ready. And then we started, and Willow was first. Willow came out first. And when I saw her face, her little perfect alien face, tears shot out of my eyeballs, and I fell to the floor. And it was so powerful. It was so profound.
Yeah.
The immediate connection and love. Anybody that's on the verge of possibly, it's unbelievable. And then Ethan was born 2 minutes later, and he was born in call, which is very, very rare. And it means that the placenta, the sac, is still intact. It's very, very rare, and it's considered good luck. So they brought him out, and here he is still inside the sac, and we can like sitting in there like a little alien baby inside, and he didn't know he's born yet. And all the nurses gathered around like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, this is so rare. The doctor like slowly peeled away, and then it drained, the amniotic fluid drains away, and he just was here. It was so unbelievable. And every single day they challenge us and surprise us, and it's the best thing I ever did. I feel like I'm a better person. I feel like I'm a better actor. I feel like I'm a better husband, everything.
Sure. Because, Rob Diamond, my boss at Broadway World, and his beautiful wife, Jennifer Diamond, are going through the same thing. They have a baby due very soon.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
so they're having a baby girl. We just had a baby shower.
Oh, that's
so they're
great.
Going through everything you went through. They're going through now, and I've lived vicariously through some of it. But I'm so happy just to watch their faces, and I can only imagine what it's going to be like when their little angel appears and their whole life changes.
And and when our friends go through it, Jesse, Tyler, and Justin now, I mean, it's just so exciting because you know what they're in for, and you know they're going to experience a joy that they literally did not think that their body was capable of having. and also attired like they never, ever, ever knew was possible. And you'll
Yeah.
never be tired ever, ever. Just the way it is.
I just want to go back to you give haircuts now at home. I follow you on Instagram like everybody else does.
Who knew? I know. Listen, our hair was I'm actually cutting Jason's hair later, and I think I'm going to cut my mother-in-law's hair. I mean, I watched some YouTube videos, and one of my besties is a
Yeah.
stylist. So you don't go straight across. You kind of dig, you cut in. Just do it slowly. Don't mess it up too much. But we got to be you got to be creative here. I did everybody's nails the other day.
Okay.
Did a little salon action. I mean, got to do what you got to do. And those people, those industries are all just absolutely dying. So as soon as this is up, oh my gosh. I was talking to one of my girlfriends. Pretty
Yeah.
soon we're going to see who's really not a blonde. And we're going to see when everybody starts to relax and people's nails. Those are the funny aspects of this whole thing.
No, but I love it that you look like this dad at home. You got your scruff on your face, which looks really good. You
Hey.
cut your hair. You cut your son's hair. You
Yep.
got to put a picture of Jason's head up tomorrow or the next
Oh, I will.
day.
I'll cut it today. His is harder because he's Jewish, so it's very curly. So I have to it shows it. But yeah, I will.
As we close out here, I mean, you are an inspiration to many people. You may not see it, but I'll tell you, you've been an inspiration.
Thank
Not
you.
just yourself, but your husband, your family. You posted Instagram and people live vicariously through, how you're doing it, how you're, working on careers and having a life. And, we don't always see what other people see. And I wish sometimes everybody could step out of themselves and realize what they give back to people and what people watch. You guys are so good at what you do. But I want to ask you, what is the best bit of advice that you live by that you were either given personally or professionally? And has that changed over the decades or so of how you view your life?
It's a really, really good question. First of all, I just want to thank you for saying those kind words. I really appreciate that. And I really was struggled as to how much of my kids' faces I was going to show,
Yeah.
how much of because some people, I have friends that don't show their kids' faces at all. And I have some friends who have Instagrams for their kids. And we're somewhere in the middle. And the way Jay and I looked at it was that we think of it as in terms of a big Tupperware bowl. Like you have to let some of the air out of the you have to burp the Tupperware. We are so full of love here.
Yeah.
We get so much love from them. We have to let some of it out. We have to burp that Tupperware bowl and let other people. We want to share because it is so profound, and these kids are such magical little human beings in our lives. I can't tell you how many times I'll go someplace and someone will say when Willow did that thing, or Ethan, and like you said, people really are invested, and not in a weird.
Yeah.
It's just a pure way, and so I just want to say thank you for saying that. The best bit of advice, let me think. I mean, really, honestly, I would say the first thing that comes to mind, I've become pretty good friends with RuPaul over the past maybe 7 or 8 years. And he says, I don't want to misquote it. He says, what other people think about you is none of your business. And that has helped me so much because I am a very sensitive person.
Yeah.
I'm a vain person. I care what people think. As an actor, you can't not care what people think. And I used to, back in the day, be obsessed with what people thought about me. I would read every little thing. Back when, I don't know if Broadway World still has that, but they had they had chat boards and people could say I saw this and this. And I remember me and all my friends at the time, that little posse, Shoshana Bean and Eden Espinosa, Laura Bell Bundy, that our kind of little crew. We all kind of made we're not reading that stuff anymore because it always makes us feel bad. You can read 10 nice things, but you only believe the one bad thing. And getting a bigger platform, working on bigger things, it's only going to be more people's opinions.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, your opinion of me is none of my business.
Yeah.
I don't read reviews anymore. I still my mom still will say, I'm like, Mom, I stopped reading reviews years ago. Don't send them to me. She's like, but it was really good. They loved your show in Ohio. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't need that I used to need it for my own edification. And it used to fuel me. It doesn't fuel me anymore. I know what I can do. I know I work hard. And I just try to do the best that I can and put it out there. So yeah, I would say other people's opinions of me are none of my business. So that's what.
First of all, I thank you for this incredible interview.
Thanks.
I thank
You're
you
welcome.
for being so honest. I mean, we're all trying to work our way through all of this stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, you've been so honest today with your feelings and what you're going through, insecurities, good days, bad days. We're all having them. And it means a lot to hear it from someone like you. Because a lot of people think stars are tapped on the shoulder and said, you're going to be famous. And no one realized that you have the same insecurities and you go through the same feelings that everybody in the world is going through right now.
Yep. That's
So
true.
I want to thank you for that, for kicking me
Yeah.
off
You're
live
welcome.
at home. You in California, we figured it all, how it all works from
Yeah.
camera to camera and everything else. And I'd like to thank everybody at Broadway World who tuned in today and for them to continue to go to Broadway World, because it's like people like you who are at Broadway World the past few weeks, singing, just telling stories, sitting with me, getting us all through what we go through as artists.
I agree. And let me just say, I want to acknowledge you real quick, because over the years, I've known you for a long time, and you always are kind and patient and prepared. And you go down that press line and then you see Richie Ridge, and it's always like, you've done your homework and you're just a joy. And I just want you, obviously the love that you have for your work shows. And that's why you're still here, baby. So
Yep.
I acknowledge you for that.
Well, listen, I thank you. Love to your family, to your
Thank
kids,
you.
and everything else. I will see you very soon, whatever you work on, when it all comes back. But
Yep.
just enjoy what's happening right now.
You do the
And to
same.
everybody at Broadway World, tune in again for a new episode next week. And Cheyenne, from the bottom of my heart, I love you, my friend.
You too. You too.
Take care.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think it shuts out. Beautiful.